going to show you, we're going to display a modification to a sidecar holster because I see there are so many different ways to carry that AIWB sidecar. And you know, I've only been doing this a little while now. So over the past 20 years, I went ahead and developed a couple of different methods that would allow single and double mag use through several different types of holsters, and whether that be taco or pancake. Taco with two clips and a claw, a single point, and then also, of course, our classic VersaTac that's been around for over 2 decades, which is a more or less a tribute holster, which looks nothing like it, but to someone I considered a mentor, which would be Milt Sparks, greatest holster maker of all time, R.I.P. Milt, and his Versa Max, and then on to his Summer Special. And that's really the fundamentals of this holster, was to be able to go with a thermoset Kydex holster, and also to be as or more comfortable than a leather holster, which is, it's a task that became overwhelming. I can conceal it extremely easily, yes, but then to go ahead and develop these fine-tuned methods. It's not just where you can do a lot of holsters at one time, and you've got to get a feel for each individual person on how they like their gear. I can't do gear for a broad public base of carry. Everything of mine is going to be individualized. Obviously, I design stuff that can be used for a production market, but when it comes to my mark on each product is going to be geared towards that client that I'm working on at the time. So I'll show you a generalized version, because obviously we have a base. I mean, there's a base to doing everything. And so this right here is, the big call of who's got the best sidecar and all this stuff. Well, there's different elements to that. And there's a lot of good companies out there right now that are doing tremendous work in the field of thermosetting, plastics, whether it be Kydex, Holstex, ConcealX, and all these other things we have in front of us now, Bolteron, all great materials to work with, and also including it with leather and making a hybrid. And like we do, I do a shoulder holster. I have a short on that. And it probably doesn't give you a clear view, because that's my whole idea, is that you're not going to see my stuff. You might see me apply it, reholster, unholster, but really you're not going to see most of my gear is going to be concealed. That is the whole idea. And this executive protection, used to call it clandestine, but, and obviously that name's been blown up over the years, but this is the craft that I am geared towards. And when you see what type of trade that they go into, it's a pretty dynamic atmosphere, and you don't know what each individual has as their job. You know what I mean? So you may know what your objective, and obviously attire, and there's a term, and environment, and then we have to analyze all that to get to what's going to be the best fit. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to run through the most compact, and it's not, it requires you to have even an adapter to do this with, which the adapter is so simple, and it actually replaces some other parts. But we can show you how you can run this new method, which is an extremely old method to us. This goes back a long way. So this is a pancake holster that is also a hybrid, and it has a sidecar. And yes, it can be worn AIWB, but a lot of my clients, they don't just want to go AIWB. A lot of them are 4 o'clock carry. And, you know, guys have been carrying for 30, 40 years, you know, that 4 o'clock carry is not really going to change with that forward cant. So you have to know how to accommodate and put a sidecar on for that forward cant. And there are different methods to do this, and we do not have to stick to a pancake holster or my VersaTac holster, which is one with the double belt clips, you know, the reversible, all that's good stuff, which classically, when you see out there with a sidecar on it, it is a pancake holster that has some sort of rivet row and a matching rivet row on the mag side, and then I've seen them to where they bungeed them together. I've seen snaps. I mean, I gotta laugh a little bit when I see these methods of snapping things in with like 4 or 5 freaking snaps or bungee cords. You're not gonna find a bungee cord anywhere on my gear. You know what? You'll find me dead first before bungee cords are gonna be on my gear. I mean, I cannot believe having that on a holster. But leather is a great addition to any holster. And you also can use your base material, which you're using Kydex. You need a cross member, thicken up your Kydex. You know, you can drill steel and aluminum is light, and you can also use that. And we use a lot of things. You know, I use 18/8 stainless, a DLC coated 6061 aluminum, pure titanium, and with a lot of these things, you know, mod drill bits go through this stuff, and you know, all these things. You can make things that are geared, and I know the method is not going to be as quick as the cookie cutter method, and I call it the cookie cutter method, but it's anything. If you're making 10 holsters and they all look the same, well, you know, that's not handmade. So I can't make 2 holsters that look the same, honestly. So I always pick, you know, you pick out a ton of differences between each individual holster I make for each individual gun. They may all fit the same, they all fit the same on your body, but there's going to be differences in them because, hey, you know, I'm human and I make mistakes and I know hardly anything. So clearly, especially in this, in the new age we have where there's more makers than ever, and that the only thing that matters is online clout and pretty much the influence you have and stuff like that. You know, I love my client base. I know what fields that they work in, and I do know pretty much where most of my commissions come from. So I'm going to stick to what I know, and I'll try to show you a little bit of how this holster is made, because what I'm going to try to do is obviously be able to offer a holster in some sort of a live stream setting, to where my clients can let me know what they want, and I can give them immediate feedback, because of, you know, communications issue with me is I belong in a shop working. I don't belong on a phone. I don't belong on social media. I don't belong on a message board. I can't get back directly with everybody. And so this might be a most interactive way, is because I do most of my interactions while I'm working. And so while I'm working and making other products and making other, you know, gear, sometimes that's the best way to even have a conversation, whether it be online, I think. So if it's something that I can try, and if it fails, it fails. If I get no views, I get no views, you know, whatever. I mean, I'm kind of used to that low click, you know, rate or whatever they call it. I'm sure the algorithm cannot stand me. I'm sure they would love to ban me. I'm sure I've been throttled, banned, or hidden in some way, considering how long I've been on most of these platforms. And you know, just trying to show some of the crap that I make. You know, I'm just wanting to, not big on shooting videos. When I do, I'll become long-winded, because I try to get a point across, even if it is, you know, down a rabbit hole or see a squirrel and off to a new subject. So what I'll try to do is, with this one, is going to be the Slimline Hybrid IWB with a sidecar. All right, this is our classic Slimline. Obviously, this is one that's done with my Chernobyl pattern. There's a little bit of looks like toxic waste and stuff on it, but anyway, yeah. So I'm just like, I want to be in So what we're going to do is we're going to pop this clip off. We have our leather adapter piece that we just made right here, and then single mag holder, and we are going to attach that to the front. So I'm going to do this real quick, and then I'll go ahead and show you this video, and that way you can see exactly what we're talking about, and then show you one of my little personal carries here. Try to cover up some stuff there, but you can see, hey look, got my little Thorn logo, my little 43. Well, this is early, so this is still 43, but X. And, this is an old gun, so I think this is maybe a little bit before an X, but still like X, you know, getting there to it. So obviously, still got that double-sided, double stack. Oh look, some Civil Defense ultralight, which obviously. Got my boys out in Maryland who best distributors to get ammo from. I can always put a link down there if anybody cares, but right there, that ultralight, good stuff. So it's light, so you definitely notice a difference. I still have that stupid Shield mag release in because I think I gave my other one away. I'm not sure. I have no idea what happened to it. Put my holster back on automatically, but I'm gonna go ahead and put this on, and then I'll show you what I mean. This is the clip on our slimline. Simply undo the clip, and then one thing we're not going to need anymore is there are small Buna rubber spacers that are right in between. We can take those out now, okay? And instead of those Buna rubber spacers, what we're going to use is something a little more organic, like this piece of leather, which is going to turn it into a hybrid for us. So let's go ahead and reattach with our Weehaw and line up our second one. One thing about leather is even if your holes aren't like perfect, sometimes you can get by. I said sometimes we may need to sometimes you just need brute force. I'm pretty sure I did these correctly. Anyway. Oh, son. Right. So this is just a little off in my book. So I'll pop a rivet hole in here. And then trim this off because it is not conducive to what we're doing. So any normal thing, I would probably finish this quite nicely. This is my demo personal, and it does drop one, or does it drop a hole? I think I just dropped the one, so I should still be good. We'll find out real quick. So this may be just a video showing you what not to do when it comes to, obviously this is the little leather piece. It's dropped just enough so it matches up with the belt line and these rivet roads. I do everything. It's 1 1/8 and then half. So I'm consistent, so it's, all my stuff is modular. So all of my mag holders can be interchanged with all of my holsters. And then on top of that, the same way with knife sheaths and stuff like that, you can piggyback all kinds of cool stuff. I'll go ahead and try to get this situated around in here. I got my lock washer in there. It's going down nice. And now we can kind of give this leather a little adjustment along with our clip. And we see here that this can be either in the front or in the back. I'm going to put it in the back as to bring everything in. And that's what I want to do. So we're going to need 2 1/8 inch, and then I'll go ahead and use my trusty old 1/4 inch wide truss flat stainless DLC. And with these, we do not need a lock washer because there is no padding or space. And when we put a magazine in here, as I look for one, I know I have one. Obviously they don't match, I don't care. But we see the design of that leather piece right now, okay? And obviously this hasn't been tightened down yet, but I think right now, as long as you get, this is your row that you want to, because this is obviously the purchase of your mag when you want to come out with it. Index into the gun. You know, I can change that orientation if you ever wanted to, but I'm an indexer. And now we have an AIWB sidecar, and I'm not sure if you can see me put it on, but even with no belt, you pretty much see how this thing fits right now. So you've got your mag right here, and your pistol right here. So it's a quick way, but more than quick, I guess I should, quick's a bad word, because obviously I hand make this piece of leather that joins these together in my slimline AIWB. We're still doing a single point, but we don't have to just do single point. We could do a double point. I can extend it back here. We could put a clip. I do not use the claw. The way I design my clips, there's a reason to use a claw. I put my clips in a position that brings the butt in. I aim all my holsters in a way that brings the butt in. So just inherently, you know, if you don't need it. I mean, on a production model that has to be used left or right hand, in a universal holster setting, the claw is very usable. But in a custom holster setting, you should not need it.